We're continuing to press into the Bible verse in 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 8. Finally, all of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate, be humble. Last week, we looked at ways that we can practice like-mindedness. This week, we want to focus on what it means to be sympathetic. Now, another way to understand this word sympathy here is to use the word empathy. It's more than just feeling for someone, but actually feeling with someone, identifying with somebody's feelings or emotions. Now, generally speaking, us guys, husbands, we have a harder time with this. We don't do as well with our feelings. We don't exist there. We don't dwell there quite as much as typically our wives will. However, when you feel with someone, it bonds you to them. You ever laughed with someone? Ever cried with someone? Have you ever gotten really, really mad with someone? We tend to remember these experiences with others a whole lot more. Anytime we can attach an emotion to an experience, it's a whole lot more likely that we're going to remember that. A little tidbit of knowledge, this is generally why women have better memories. They attach more emotions to events, so they're more likely to remember it. So here's a simple way that we can practice sympathizing or empathizing with one another. If one of you is frustrated, share in the frustration. If one of you is concerned, share in the concern. If one of you is discouraged or sad, to an extent, share in the sadness. If one of you is happy or excited, share in the excitement. All of us have had the experience at one point in our lives when we've shared something with one another, not so that the other person will fix it, but just simply to listen. Now, usually husbands will get accused more of always wanting to fix something when all she really wants is listening. But here's the reality. None of us like to see our loved ones hurting. So anytime one of us is expressing something that is either frustrating or causing anxiety or worry or whatever it might be, the other person's going to want to fix it. When all we really need to do is just share in that emotion with someone. Before we try and move so quickly into finding a solution, it's just more important that we identify with one another. This is what Christ modeled to us. John 11:35 is famous for being the shortest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept. But the impactful thing about this verse is that Jesus modeled empathy. He empathized with people who were grieving, and it actually drew others to him. And when we practice sympathy or empathy towards one another, when we're seeking to just identify with what the other person is feeling, it'll actually draw us closer to one another. So this week, practice sympathizing or empathizing with one another as a way to bring you two closer together.